Yeah, welcome back to the firehouse for some more firehouse reasoning. Witch doctor style, I say, today from the firehouse. Because there was a time when I say the witch doctor was not only in the deep Congo, but the witch doctor was all over the planet. But us witch doctors get what I call burnout, you know what I mean, or marginalized. And I say it is time for the revival of those who live naturally with the earth, like I would say. So today from the firehouse, I would like to address most of my European brothers. I've mentioned the subject before, but I'm redressing it, as we say. You know what I mean? And I want you now to go in the mode of what I call remembrance mode. Because I've noticed here now that in Europe, in England anyway, definitely, and most of Europe, they have what they call a Remembrance Day service. To remember all those gallant soldiers who died in World War I and II. But from the firehouse tonight, I want to remind the brothers of Europe who have adopted Christianity, because now the whole of Europe, you could call it Christian, and say they are a Christian country. Even to spread as far as America, they are saying that they are a Christian country. And the brothers in Europe now gladly accept this. I feel one of the reasons why you've gladly accepted this yourself as a Christian country is because the deceivers then brought the Savior in your farm then, you know what I mean? In other words, because Jesus was presented to you as a white man, you've over the centuries accept the brutality that Christianity brought on your ancestors, and now you've accepted this brutality as your what you would call national, or calling yourself as Christians anyway. But let us step back. You know, don't forget we're dealing with Europe, you know. What we call Europeans. Let us not only remember those who died in World War I and II. Let us go back further in our European history, to a time when there was no Christianity yet. You know, before the Romans officially adopted Christianity as a state religion. That's how far back we're going now. So before this time, the people of Ireland and Scotland and England here and Wales, there was no Christian, was there? Now, I am not an expert on English history, if you know what I mean. I am just a skimmer. But those who are interested in their own history, because England, if you are in England or anywhere in Europe, it is your history in it. You're coming from an ancestral roots just the same. Doesn't matter where you're living in it. It's just that I am addressing my European brethren. Who is living now? And I'm saying to them, this lesson is about going back to roots. So if these beings now decide to trace back their roots, they are going to find out that there was a time when their ancestors was never thinking anything Christian, but they was living anyway. Now if they wasn't thinking as Christians, what was they thinking? You're not going to let these Christians tell you, or believe what they tell you, that all your ancestors before they arrive was pagans and witches and whatever derogative name they want to put on the ancestors. That's all there was. And that Christianity now was the one that come along and saved them from out of their paganism. I tell you what you want to do. You want to research this history very carefully and find out the brutality that Christianity inflicted on the ancestors of Europe to get itself in place. You know what I mean? It never just come in peacefully to them. Read about the hundreds, if not thousands, thousands that they burn at the stake and that they murder in whatever form they murder them, calling them pagan and devil worshippers, Satan. I don't know what label they put on those who was proper witch doctors, living with the earth. Medicine men, I say. Proper medicine men of the earth all over here in Europe. Before this Constantine formulated and adopted Christianity as the official religion, you know what I mean, and decide to attack all the rest with a brutality and a ferocity that I say is unparalleled in human history. Yes, when I study the European history, I say to myself that coming from a slavery system, that's bad, isn't it? But at least these devils take you and put you in slave, and they brutalize, do all kind of wickedness, but eventually you escape. But your ancestors here, our ancestors here in Europe, there was no escape from the brutality. They tear them to bits. It would have been merciful if they sent them into slavery, but they never grant them that. They burn them at the stake and kill them in the millions, men and women together. Prosecuted viciously by this inhuman, I say, religious force that was being descended all over Europe in the name of Jesus Christ, as it was. And these ancestors, like I say, was brutally suppressed. And yes, this is generations later now, when you accept now that, oh yeah, we are all Christians and we are a Christian country. But you don't know the history of how you come to be a Christian country. And when you have in remembrance service, you don't remember those ancestors that was living at the time when this Christianity come upon them. You don't have a remembrance service for them, innit? Because Christianity has told you that those people was heretics and that they deserve to die. Because Christianity was literally telling them, man, listen, we are God, Jenny. Everything has been revealed to God, and God said that these people are devil and we must murder them. You know what I mean? And now you accept, like I say, gladly into your psyche the teachings of the, I don't know what I would call it, those teaching of devils, because it's only devils that want to intoxicate people with what is not right and correct, and to set up a vicious campaign against what they know is right and correct. You know what I mean? To impose their will. So the will that has been imposed on the European brothers, it's not natural to your psyche. But like I say, I don't know, just because they present Jesus, like I say, get Michelangelo to paint a picture and say this is Jesus, and because Jesus look like you now, this same character that they bring, because he look like you, over the centuries, say, oh yeah man, Jesus, because he accept like me. Yeah, but he look like your ancestors as well, this Jesus. But that's not how the people who bring him give it to your ancestors, or they give it to them at the stake, burning them, persecuting them. You see, implemented itself through force and power. And obviously, you know, when this disease first was conceived by the Romans, I say, they was the ruling power. A similar thing now to how you see America is the superpower. In them days, Rome was the superpower. So it was Rome that imposed most of this their idiocy and the rest of the as far as they could reach anyway. Wherever they was ruling, this new ruling was brought into operation at the expense of the native people. Whatever is they was thinking previously, these Romans decided to rid them of it and to impose this false doctrine of Rome and the people. You know what I mean? Eventually here in England, I don't know which one of them kings decide to take a piece of the action. Don't know if it was Henry VIII or one of them man there. Take a piece of the action and form his own runaway Rome, because he must have realized that this was bullshit anyway. So he run them out and form up the Church of England. You know what I mean? And no doubt there was prosecution to people to be Church of England as well. I don't know the history. Religion have anywhere religion go, they have a way of brutally introducing themselves. Can't do it so much in modern times, so they just use those who are brainwashed, and those who have accepted the brainwashing from long time ago without actually knowing their history or caring to know their history. So before you accept this religion that you are in your church praying every day, like I say, take a holiday from this religion that you've been indoctrinated to in Europe. Yeah? And I'm saying that, you know, this indoctrination never does come about today. To understand it, you have to go back in your history. You understand? If you have the time, how many of you have the time to go in your history and read your history? You have English history here, history all over Europe, wherever you are in Europe. Go and read your history. Eh? Find out what happened to your ancestor when Christianity come about. Did it first come about through love, like they are telling you? Did it come to your ancestors? Did your ancestors run out of there wherever they was living to embrace Christianity when they first hear about it? You know, did it come to them and the priest and read and he says, oh yeah, I will give up my ways now and join you? No, it was like that. It was like it was by brutal force, I say. It was imposed on the people's mind. And now all of you have accepted this nonsense. To be correct. Well, a lot of people in Europe now, I wouldn't say all of the people in Europe, because a lot of people have turned their back on this idiocy. Now, they don't go to church, or they are not under the influence of the church. But they still have not done the research by going back in their history to realize the danger of this same church. This shit stim. You know what I mean? How can something that was built on brutality and falsehood be correct? None of these who are calling themselves Christian, like I said, they are cowards, because they don't want to do any research, even though you have things like computers now where it can be done rapidly. So you can research into the matter and find out when Christianity was formed into a religion, when it was first accepted as a state religion. You know, there was lots of different group of people with different writing, and some was saying this, some was saying that. People have all different kind of spirituality. But there come a time when the Romans decide to organize it into one body. Under the Emperor Constantine, you know, you can find these things out. And that's when they conceive of all this idea about Jesus being born of a virgin birth. And that's why they want to enforce those things on people through military might and power enforcement. Because it wasn't true. It's a lie, it's a made up story. You know what I mean? But a lie can be, well, it can't become a truth, but people over a generation, people can accept a lie to be truth. So people have accepted that lie to be truth. But there is no truth in it. The whole of it is lie. And the early spreaders of it were violent beings. Nothing positive about them. Negative. Everything about them is lies. So that's why they are the one with the prophets and all, the saints and all. Because they have to baffle you with great holy men in it. I tell you stories. Keep your mind in, like I say, suspended wonder. But they can't speak any truth. No system that spread itself by violence can be truthful. And Christianity is a system that spread itself through violence all over the world. Whether it's here in Europe or, like I say, in the Congo. What difference does it make? You kill them here, kill them there. Or if we go to South America, you try and enforce your will all there on the native people, innit? Through getting rid of their natural way of being in touch with their jungle or forest in Brazil and America and whatever. To impose viciously what you call Christianity. Why would God want to send his son to impose his will on other human beings through violence? And that's what Christianity is. But no one wants to study. You don't want to study, you say you're a Christian, but you don't want to study the history of Christianity in it. And how it come to, they say, oh, you have 1 billion followers or members. How it come to have this 1 billion members in it, within it, of the family. How did it come to do that? Is it true love? Is it through the love of Christ? Like they tell you. Or the body of Christ. No, man. This is a power that imposes itself and literally eradicated the natural spirituality of the country. So if we hear in England, then the natural spirituality of England by the native was eradicated by these lunatics. They must have soaked the land of England with the blood of the innocent to get rid of them, to impose their brutality. And if they go to Ireland, they must have persecuted the Irish until they surrender in it and kill out their native spirituality. Same through Scotland and France and everywhere else. Because there was a time, only 2,000 years ago, this brutality come about. You know what I mean? It's not an ancient thing. It's not a tradition. That's why I say it's not traditional to the rest of Europe then, if you know what I mean. It is only through because the Roman was the superpower. That's why it spread so rapidly. Because the superpower realized that this was a tool that could be used to its own advantages. If it and a way of controlling people and ruling over them. And it's been running ever since. So you're not running off anything like they would tell you like you are a Christian country. You are a Roman country. And you are run according to the laws of the old Roman Empire. If you know what I mean. It just switch itself, you know what I mean, like negativity have a way of disguising itself then. So instead of holding you physically like they did to our ancestors in Africa, they just hold you mentally in the slavery. But one way or the other, negativity have no intention of freeing the souls of beings. So why should it bring anything good to you? Anything that negativity is telling you is good is bad. And anything that they curse is good. So if they tell you that Jesus is a good thing, that's a bad thing. And if they tell you that your ancestors was pagan and devil worshipper, go and check out exactly what they was doing, and you'll find out what they was doing was good. But these had to discredit them through propaganda. So they discredit the natural, native way and replace it with their propaganda. So now if a man tell you in England that they are a witch, you think it's an evil thing, innit? So you keep away from witches or whatever other native people, what people practice in the Isles. They are shunned to their side now, because here come Jesus telling you that these are heathen, innit? And you don't know that it is Jesus is the devil. They've used this figment of their own imagination to present to you. And now you are writing books and worshipping only because the man look like you. If he looked like me, you wouldn't have been tricked that much. But they present it, they know that they look like they know that you was a lover of yourself. So they present an image of yourself and tell you that, yes man, this is the greatest man who ever come out of woman, man. And he's the one that say you must follow this way, eh? And when you die you will go to heaven, you know. And you trust them so much, like I say. You must not trust somebody just because they look like you. Yeah, it can look like you, but that doesn't mean that they're honest. You know, I wouldn't just think, oh, all black men are honest because they're black like me, innit? So I don't know why my European brothers should imagine that all the white brothers are honest. They are not. Devious brethren, your brothers are devious. We're family, aren't we? That's why I know. Because the whole of us is a family, so, and we are brothers. I know they don't know this, but I know it anyway. So I'm teaching the law, innit, to Bushman or European, you know, Japanese or Chinese. So I'm saying now, these brothers, they look like you, but they're not your brothers. This is all, you can't see them because man is not physical, we are in the spiritual, unseen. So these brothers that are telling you about these Jesus thing, they don't love you, they don't know what is right. They side with the oppressors. You know, if you go back in your history, they've taken side with those Romans who come in and impose the will of Christianity on your ancestors and brutalize them, kill them and do all manner of evil to them. And now these are the souls who take sides with the oppressors. Eh? They are just like those, like I say, cowardly jungle men who take sides with the slave master after the man have us in slavery and give us this idiotic same story that he brutalized you in Europe about Jesus. And now we have slaves teaching it to us, insisting that we should follow the teaching of the Romans about Jesus, you know, and accept slavery in our mind. So it's the same way here in Europe. You have brothers who accept the brutality and is insisting today that their fellow brothers should accept this brutality that has been brought unto them. You know what I mean? Well, not unto them directly like I'm saying, but unto their ancestors. But because they are so forgetful, because they don't want to know their roots, they spend no time studying the history of their country and to get a real grasp of the situation. Or if they do, they don't go far enough back. Then you would find out what really happened to your ancestors. Because they're your ancestors, aren't they? You're still connected to them. You come from them. Without them, you couldn't be around. Could you? And yet you don't want to know about them. Did they live too long ago? Now, wasn't too long ago, it's still your roots. And you need to know about your roots. And you need to be honest when you're finding out about your roots. You know what I mean? I'm telling you, this force that they call Christianity has come and covered up a lot of your roots. And have you thinking in a way that you shouldn't be thinking. Educating your children in a way that you shouldn't be educating them. Because these things are not natural to your roots that you are coming from. Christianity is not a natural, I mean England. Christianity is not a natural thing to England. It's unnatural. Because I'm not an Englishman, I don't know the natural spiritual ways of England that are, you know, Druids or whatever the man them call themselves, or Celts or whatever, you know. But there's natural spirituality here. Before Rome come and trample it underground, marginalize it as it was, because they are bigger devils in it. But it's still here. And those who wish to get in touch with their roots, you'll have to go through those kind of systems, because your roots is not in Christianity, is it? Christianity is a foreign thing to these shores. It's a disease on the mind of Englishmen and European men. But they gladly accept this disease, like I say, because they brought it, the disease looked like them. So they was quite happy to accept the disease and accept the fact that, oh yeah, this disease, it's right that this disease kill out a lot of our ancestors. And most of them who was, you know, because they was right-minded people. Oh, we could only think right when this disease visit us over the last 2,000 years. But previous to that, we was just cavemen. You know, we had no spirit, and there was nobody on the shore who was spiritual or have any connection or any understanding of nothing. We only start to get educated and understanding, right, when Rome decided to form Christianity. I know Rome bring a lot of new things, they say, like roads and all this kind of thing, whatever they bring. So maybe the native people were so grateful for them to bring this new thing, Christianity, which was the shining light of the soul to them. You know what I mean? Maybe there was, I don't know. I doubt it very much though, because like I say, I have studied this Christianity business, and it seems like everywhere it goes, there's brutality in its wake. You know what I mean? I don't know why God would want to come with brutality and have to get rid of anything. You know what I mean? But anyway, that's what Christianity have done. And that's what it's done to warp the minds of the European or anybody else who it has touched, because it's a disease. It's a lie. It's not the truth. You don't have to impose truth by force. And like I say, you know, please remember that we're not talking about Christianity imposing itself through force now. It's not need to now. It's ingrained in people's mind now. They will willingly join it and carry on their tradition because their grandfather was in it or the auntie was in it. I'm talking about the onset of it. When you kick off about 2,000 years ago. You know, it's a violent thing, force. It was only adopted by the Romans because they want to control people better. They are the one who appoint the popes and all them. So the Pope is the Pope ain't a general. He's not a spiritual man. You cannot be with a movement that is brutal and call yourself a spiritual man. The Pope wasn't a spiritual man then, and he is not a spiritual man now. Because that Christianity is not spirituality. You know what I mean? It's a system to rule the mind of ignorant beings. Just like Islam and the rest of these other religion. You know what I mean? In their outward form, there's nothing spiritual about them. They're just dealing in matter. Like when someone is just dealing with their physical body. The same thing. So there's nothing spiritual, that's a dead thing. And that's why that dead thing, because it's dead, it would have to enforce itself. Because it's not natural, it's unnatural. It never come naturally. When you study the history of it, it never come to people natural. Spirituality come to people natural. So people was living on these isles naturally, understanding the surroundings and the sky and whatever you want to naturally, because that is spiritual, and spirituality is in all beings. So the Bushmen connected naturally before these evil forces like Christianity and Islam and then command them and enforce their will and the natural habitat of the people. So wherever you go around the planet, and you're going to trace back your history, go back into it before religion, or these religion main one of Judaism, Islam, Christianity. They are the one that spread then. So go back, whatever country you are in, and see what the history was before they arrive. See if there was any spirituality in your ancestors in it. Are you afraid to go that far back in your history? It's easy now, it's at the tip of your finger and your computers, you know what I mean? You can find out anything now. Go and Google it if you want to face some. And this is not even spiritual, this is just historical facts, I would say. Read your history. See if these religions are natural to your habitat or your ancestral habitat. And you will find out that no, these diseases are not natural to these shores. These disease was brought and are brought over to us. And then we was taken out of our own natural paradigm into this other paradigm of Christianity or Islam or Judaism or whatever religion capture your soul. You see what I mean? Most Muslims are not Arabs. So you're naturally not in your own paradigm. Wherever you are and you're not an Arab, you are out of your paradigm. Go and check your history. Your ancestors was converted. You hear the word converted. You know what it is to con someone? It's to deceive them. So go back and see when your ancestors was converted to whatever movements you are in, because you are a convert to that movement. If you know what I mean. So you see, like I'm telling you now, that's the only way the bushman could free himself of all his entanglement, is to get away from all these converters. You see what I mean? And go back to roots. Roots in the deep Congo now, where before any of these rise up with their conversion methods, I was living naturally in the jungle, connected with the trees and the stars and the surrounding. I don't need to be converted, if you know what I mean. I am already in tune with my natural habitat then. You see what I mean? So I have to go back now, like I say, right back before they bring these enslavement method into the bush. Same method that they use and you hear in Europe. And the same advice that I have used to reconnect to the natural. It's the same advice you have to use, because the same principle was used on your mentality, your ancestors. You know what I mean? They was brutalized as well to accept the shit stem. And for you now to understand this shit stem, you have to reconnect to your ancestral roots. If you know what I mean. Yeah, man, we all have to do that. You say, every man have to go back to roots. So when we go back to roots now, like I'm saying now, back to roots in deep Congo now. We never take teachings of other beings. Or take teachings of the prophet of God or those things. Those things are, those are the teachings of the negative force, like we would call those who are spreading the word of God. In deep Congo, it was a matter of choice and levity. So one gravitate then to a level where, as according to how one live, and one discipline oneself in the environment of life, if you know what I mean. Now, God cannot send, or God don't need to send His Son, or any angel, or anybody at all whatsoever, to show a being how to live a disciplined life. Because this is a matter of choice. The disciplined life is already within one. It's only a matter if do you want to do it or don't. So some people don't want to do it. So they don't apply themselves to that. They have other occupation, they go and apply themselves to that. You know, they might fancy a game instead and go and apply themselves to the game and become very good at the game. It's a matter of application, in it. So when one now apply themselves to what is right, because this is what they love and this is what gives them pleasure, you know, and you apply yourself, you train yourself, that's what you become good at then. It's just natural. You see what I mean? So it's not anybody can apply themselves. It's not like I say this is like singing when where only certain individual can sing. Applying yourself to what is right is one that is open to all. Every human being. None is restricted. All can apply. But it's a matter of choice. So those who don't apply cannot know. And those who apply get to know and understand. And when you apply and you get and you know and you understand, you will know that those who are following religion are not applying. They are pretenders, false. They do not know and understand. The teachers of religion are believers. And I wouldn't mind if they was believing the truth, because that would be alright, innit? But what they're believing in is nonsense. They're praying to our following Jesus, who is not real anyway. It's alone, and it's nothing to do with the truth. They're going about as if Jesus is above living honestly. It doesn't matter how many times you're going about Jesus or you Muhammad, that is not relevant to understanding natural spirituality. Because you have to live honestly, not go about the earth talking about other people and how great they was. When you are living honestly, you don't have to be talking about other people and how great, because they are not relevant to you living honestly. And that is the only way that's going to open your eyes to live honestly. And that's what should be taught by any teacher. No teacher should be here repeating about Jesus said and Muhammad said and angel and archangel. That's an idiot. You are supposed to be here teaching people then, or explaining to them how they can get connected. That's all. And once they get connected, you don't have to preach to them. Their own connection will teach them, innit? The teacher is one. We should be teaching about the teacher. Our teaching beings how to introduce them to the teacher. Not to be telling them about some beings like you say, Abraham, and forever going on about them and what Jacob did and all that and all that. You know what I mean? And referring... I know the Bible is positive and negative, but in this reason we'll just call it the unholy Bible. You know what I mean? Because all those who have to refer to it are unholy beings. You have followed the lie that Rome propagate around the world. You know what I mean? You're fervently going to church to listen to this idiocy about Jesus. Like I say, I bet my soul against it that it's a lie. Like lately, I noticed since the 2013 start to enter, I've gone into the mood of betting my soul. I bet my soul against it then that this story that they tell you about Jesus is a goddamn lie. If it's true, I don't even want to keep my soul. That's why I say I'm a gambler. Is any of the priests in the church willing to bet their soul that, yes, man, Jesus is truth, man? Because they can't know this anyway. They are just believers. But I know it for 100% says, not 100, 300,000 billion trillion percent says a lie. Yeah, and I'm willing to bet my soul against it. I'm not just willing to say it's a lie. I want to bet my soul that it's a lie. So if the Pope then want to bet it, tell him, go and tell the Pope that this man is willing to bet his soul that the Jesus that you are talking about is a goddamn lie. Ask him if he would want to bet his soul that, yes, man, it's true, man. I say I bet the boy, devil in gowns. You know what I mean? But that's what you will believe, like I say, when you don't know who you are, or when you don't understand where you're coming from, when you are not connected to your roots. You see what I mean? So it's time for the people of Europe to go back to their roots. And if you go back to your roots, you won't find Christianity there. In fact, you're going to find that it's an enemy to your psyche. And that's why it was introduced to your ancestors through brutality and force. Murder a lot of them off. You should start a remembrance service for them who was burned at the stake or whatever way they killed them. The witch hunt, like they call it, throughout Europe. You know what they did to all those innocent souls, simply because they was trying to resist this evil that was being imposed on them against their will, which they had a right to resist evil. If I was in them times, maybe I would have been one of those Europeans that was burnt by fire, because I would have been resisting these devils. I would have been speaking against them. I would have been cursing the Pope in them time, the devil, who's sending his murderers around to impose his murderous will. You know what I mean? No, he doesn't need to do it now. He's sitting cozy there. Here he's even on Twitter tweeting. See, hey, devil is on Twitter now. You know what I mean? But people still follow these idiotic beings. You see what I mean? Wouldn't it be better if you go back to your ancestors, like say like another island, like the Kyle Island, mostly Catholic, innit? Or it's all Christian. But I bet if the Irish go back in their history, they'll find their native religion there, marginalizing Ireland. It's better for you to go back, Irishman, go back to your roots, your ancestral roots. Yeah, not from Rome. This is a Roman. This is Constantine that has brought these down on your ancestor and wipe out the natural spirituality of Ireland. This is a fact. How can I state this as a fact and I'm a jungle man? I say, man, the Irishman could say, go back in your jungle, man. What you're saying is not true. We never have any natural spirituality in Ireland until Rome bring us. We was just savage Irishmen, yeah, in Ireland, until Rome bring us spirituality. That's when we start to know about what was wrong and right. No, it wasn't like that, man. Rome brought brutality on your ancestor and drive away the natural spirituality of Ireland from out of you. And now have you following that idiotic way that they bring, that I say satanic way that has they brought down on the Irish people, Scottish people, Welsh people, English people, German, Russian and all them, and whatever, all of them, French or whatever. Christianity is not native to none of them. It overran them. They had no choice but to surrender to the evil. It was the dark ages. Yes, man, I say those people who call themselves Christian, go back in their history. The hand, not only the hands, all the mouth are dripping with blood, and the feet, they're walking in blood. They are a bloodthirsty lot, I say. And the people them that they was killing, they call them the devils. It was them who was the devils. In those times, when we go back in those history, we could literally say the devil descend on Europe. You know what I mean? It was and the devil was merciless unto those who try to stand in the devil way and resist devilish force. The force was so overwhelming that it overwhelmed Europe. And now Europe accept devilism as a natural state of living. And is saying to themselves, we are Christian. They are glad to go and baptize their children in the art of devilism and come on and educate their children in the art of Roman devilism. Grow the whole family up. They're glad now. They say, oh yes, everything big occasion they're in there following satanic rituals that Christianity brought in, and completely forget and is ashamed of their natural spirit, their ancestor natural spirituality. You should be ashamed. Imagine if you die and you meet your ancestors that you really come from, the ancient one, and they say, is that how you turn your back on us then? You didn't even remember that we exist. And if it wasn't for us, you wouldn't have existed. Yet you say we were so far away, you didn't even want to try and figure out what we was thinking. The devils overwhelm your mind so much that we was no longer in your gene pool or on your DNA. You know, you completely forget about us. While you remember those who put you into the slavery that you are and give them thanks. That's what you do, you know. You idolize those who put your ancestors in slavery, brutalize them, kill them out, you worship them and forget about them. Turn your back on your ancestral ways. How can you find your way that way? Is it any wonder that Europe is confused and you're lost, so you don't know where you're going? Because you are not connected to your roots, and anyone who is not connected to their roots must become spiritually lost. You don't understand it. Same lesson that I'm telling Bushman. It's called U-Town, man. If you're not connected to your roots, you are lost. You see what I mean? So natively, wherever you come from, if you let an alien idea infected your mind, you're lost. You can't find your way that way. Because you're not following your ancestor, are you? If you're Native American and you're following Christianity, you're lost because you're not following your name. If you're Japanese and you're doing, you're lost. It's not natural to your borders. So I don't know, all those people who are doing those things are naturally lost. Most people in Europe are lost. Lost because, why? They are not following their ancestral way. They don't have to go and follow me or anything or follow the Bushman. That's not their way. I'm just talking about the natural ancestral ways of Europe. All over the whole planet, we are all natural Bushmen. We are connected to the earth spiritually. And wherever you go, we have our natural spirituality. So there's natural spirituality within these borders, but the devils kill it out. Well, they can't kill it out, but they suppress it to the fullest. So now it's marginalized. And people will turn their backs on their natural spirituality to follow those of the impostor that was brought on them, forgetting the brutality that this impostor meted out to their ancestors in them time to establish this impostorous religion. Now we accept it as a natural thing, but it's not natural. And as long as we, the descendants of our ancestors, are accepting these way, we will remain in ignorance and be blind. You don't understand? We cannot allow ourselves to be led by devils. How long can you be led by devils? It is time for you to research into your roots. It's only like that you're going to find the truth out if you are brutally honest. If you want to stay asleep in this idiocy that you call Christianity, you are going to die in it. It is a lie. It is a fallacy. It is time for you to research into it proper, historically. Never mind if you cannot see it spiritually. Research into it historically. Find out about it. You can do it now swiftly, like I say. Google it. See how it come about, how it spread, who spread it, how. You see what I mean? What method they use. And then you will find out, bloody hell, it's not a genuine thing, it's a false thing. You see what I mean? It's a thing that come and it's blood. No wonder they give you the body of Christ to eat and his blood to drink. Because that is what is set up on blood. Blood on the hands, blood on the mouth, and blood on the feet. So how can you be following such a monstrosity? That's things like that I say is a disease to the mind of my European brother, and whoever else around the planet is infected by these form of religious disease that attack the souls of man. You are not, like I'm telling you, supposed to be following any religion. We are natural spiritual beings. The truth is in us. We are supposed to follow our own truth that we naturally know. Religion is an unnatural thing to the souls of beings. It has been imposed. And it's not been imposed by a natural being. Natural being will impose spirituality. And man, let man get the connection. Won't come and impose a religion that make no sense whatsoever. Unless it only makes sense unless your intention is to deceive and to control. So those who are using that method are after control, power, ruling. That is why Constantine adopted it. It wasn't because he was a Christian, but because he was the emperor, ruler of beings. But he see that this was a good thing, and they've used it ever since. It is a good thing. Soften up the population while you rule over them. Keep them in ignorance. So how long is the continent of Europe going to stay in ignorance and darkness? You've been put in this darkness, like I say, for the last 2,000 years, like we, you know what I mean? You are under mental slavery, and it is time for you to break out. But the only way that you're going to break out is through your ancestral way, your natural ancestral way. You have to go back to and make a connection to and see these devils for who they are. You know, you're already halfway there, because the churches in Europe are empty anyway. A lot of beings have come to the conclusion that these are totally wicked and evil beings. You know what I mean? But yes, they are wicked, and the story that they tell is ridiculous. But don't think that because they are wicked, there was nothing natural and truth within the universe, and that your ancestors never knew about this. They did. It was these devils who tried to hide the true spirituality so that you cannot make a connection. So don't end up like Mr. Dawkins, and who can prove that yes, these idiots are not right, but then end up thinking that there is no God. There is no God. I would be like Mr. Dawkins, if that's his name, Hawkins. I agree with him totally that these religious people are ridiculous, because I am telling you the same thing, that they are devils, isn't it? The only part I don't agree with him, he must think that because he find out that these people who are pretending to be God people are devils, that there is no God. Oh yes, there is God. They are just, like you say, stupid and ignorant. No wonder. I see the man on the television the other day, somebody interviewing him, was a Muslim, and he says to the Muslim, so do you believe that Muhammad fly on the wings of the angel and went up to the seventh heaven? And the man says yes, he believed that. And Hawkins was saying, well, I think that is ridiculous. But it's not only him who I think it's ridiculous, because somebody could only believe that. Nothing like that ever happened. I could believe that one of my great-great-grandfather fly to the sun one time, you know, rise to... I can believe it. Doesn't mean that it's true, though. You can believe anything, because that's just a belief. Doesn't mean that it's true. So because somebody faithfully believes something, they must think that faithfully believing it is going to make it true. Faithfully believing it ain't going to make it true if it's not true. You see what I mean? And here we are dealing with the truth. Such things are just believed. No one don't fly up to no heaven, brethren. So we can destroy. No wonder man say that God people are. What Hawkins don't understand, these are not godly people. These are ungodly people telling him this. Godly people don't work like that. Godly people work out what is factual and truthful, what is honest. So we don't tell any fairy story about any miracles. Not interested in miracles, or any fantastic birth. We are interested in normal birth, normal physical life of living and learning through the experience of living and explaining what you know through that experience that you've had of the life that you've struggled to live. Not to be wondering off about telling story about man walking on water and angel doing this. Spiritual man don't know about those things, about any angel or anything. We're not in contact with them, and we don't want to be in contact with them. We are in contact with the natural spirit that lives within us, the supreme teacher. Why would you want to be taught by anybody else and be going on about angel, archangel, prophets? That is what religious people do, because they are the ones who are confused. You'll never hear spiritual beings teaching about any such things. You understand what I mean? They'll just teach about what they know themselves, what they find out about the mysterious one themselves, what they know. So that's what I do. I don't teach about what I hear. I teach about what I know. So then that way I know that it's a couple trillion, billion, upon trillion, billion % certain. Factual. Reality. You know what I mean? Religious people cannot teach like that, because they are hypocrites. That's why they would have to go and dress up in a lot of fancy garb, build a big building that will keep your mind fascinated, and perform all kind of stupid ritual. Why would anyone need to do ritual to know what is right and to live rightfully? You don't have to perform, you incorporate it in your living. It's this, what these religious people are doing. They come in like some people who go to dance school and go there and learn how to dance. How they say, tell to them, put one foot here, put one foot there, put one, and they teach you to dance. Dancing is like that. It's a natural. You just flow with the rhythm. You don't go and learn to dance. You just move with the rhythm. So those who learn to dance are not dancers, because they get taught how to dance. You're not a natural dancer. A natural dancer don't learn how to dance. They just dance. You see what I mean? So it's like me now. I don't learn how to dance.
Don't worry, I just got it up.
Yeah, carry on. I think if there was a blipping thing there, that was because the mic fell off. So don't worry about it. And we don't do any retake. We just carry on naturally, not professional. You know what I mean? So I was saying that natural dancers don't learn how to dance. They just dance naturally. You know what I mean? So it's like that with spirituality. It's not a thing where you just do it naturally. You don't go and learn it and say, oh, do this, do that. It comes naturally to all beings. It's a natural thing. Learn how to dance. When you learn to make the right choice. You know what I mean? It comes naturally when you are doing what is right. But it ain't going to come natural to you now if you now accept some outside ideas from Rome or from China for that matter. You know what I mean? When these ideas come in your paradigm, you are not following your natural habitat, are you? You are now following an alien concept. See what I mean? So all those in the jungle, like I say, who are Muslim and Christians, have lost their way because they are not following their natural jungle roots of their ancestors. They are dismissed where they're coming from to go and follow something else, which is alien to them. If you are Christians, you are following Constantine and his Romanic ideas. And if you are a Muslim, you are following those that was conceived by Muhammad as his Arab brothers in the desert. But you are no longer from the jungle because you are not following your ancestors. Your ancestors never taught anything about Muslims, never taught anything about Christianity at all, and yet these was great spiritual beings doing great spiritual things. And yet you don't want to accept your ancestral ways. You abandon that to go and follow them. Well, you are lost along with them. And just like I'm telling the brothers in Europe, if they've abandoned their ancestral way to follow these imposters, they too are lost because they're not following what is native to their particular country as they see it. I say to their particular spot on the planet. And if the Native American have abandoned their traditional native way of connecting with the spirit to follow the Europeans who come and conquer them, they've lost their way, haven't they? You know? And if the Chinese do it, well, the Chinaman always build a wall and try to keep people out. He knows the danger, so he go to ridiculous length to keep these devils from out of his men. He alone want to trick his people, fair enough. You know what I mean? He's trying to restrict the damage. At least that way you can retain your native roots, your Confucianism and your I Ching your way, rather than let Christianity and Islam come and run the show like they do in most places. You know what I mean? So they fight and keep that out. But what I'm saying now, it's time for us now to get back to roots. So roots, as I see, because when I tell you, we teach planetary wise, innit? So roots for them who's what I call black man must know your roots. For me, European brother, you must know your roots. Not your African roots, but your European roots. And know about your ancestors and what kind of vibe they was thinking before the brutality of Christianity arrived upon their head. You know what I mean? And now have you accepting brutality have part of your culture? It's not part of your culture. It was infused into your culture. You know what I mean? And I'm telling you as a brother that it spies in your culture. You had a cleaner culture before. This is like you had a clean glass of water and these Romans come and pour dirt in you and dirty up your glass now. So now you no longer sip from clean waters that your ancestors was sipping from before. Because now you are sipping from the cup of deceit. You know what I mean? It's time for you to go back to drinking clean water. Anyway, I've been rapping to you for a long time, and right now I'm going to take a break from Firehouse, and I hope that the message of returning to roots, European-wise then, anywhere, Earth-wise then, has somehow sink into your psyche and has given you the initiative to start researching into your natural roots. Whether you are from England, Poland, Romania, any one of the countries that are around that Christianity has descended and has brutalized, I say, your ancestors, that the younger generation will now start to get an interest in their ancient history and find out, and in this way free themselves from this monstrosity that has visited their ancestors in a brutal manner and is still infecting their mentality in a more subtle way. But it's still a disease like cancer that should be get rid of wherever it is flourishing. Anyway, I is going to want that serious warning fire out from the firehouse and go and relax and chill in the afternoon. So once more we're going to fire out and fade away. Rastafari, live it.